Hello, Dragon Riders. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. I am coming in for our lunchtime learning. Now, this lunchtime learning was actually supposed to happen last Friday, but due to Hurricane Milton, we had to rain date it to this Friday. So you're getting a double header today. So you're going to have me right now, 12:30 to 1, well, 12:30 to 1:50, 12:30 to 12:50-ish. And we're going to do Dragon Rider training, keep your seat, strengthening and conditioning. And then at 1 o'clock, Coach Kelsey's hopping on for our Dragon Rider training, introduction to grounding and shielding. Now, the grounding work she's going to do today at 1 o'clock, and then the shielding, which will be part 2, will happen next Friday at 1 o'clock. So you'll have a double header today, and then a part 2 to the second part of our double header for next Friday. So we have 3 lunchtime learnings of Dragon Rider training back to back to back to back to back, which I'm really excited about. So today we're going to go over how to build a workout program, specifically how to keep your seat as a Dragon Rider. Now, this is inspired by the Empyrean series, specifically in 4th Wing, when Violet keeps falling off her dragon over and over and over again. And so she starts training with Imogen in the gym. And while the equipment may be a little bit different in the gym in the Empyrean series, the way they describe the equipment seemed very similar to a lot of our cable pull machines, barbells, dumbbells, things like that. They just seem to be described as being wood-based versus metal. So they did things such as like adductor squeezes, where you put, she said there's 2 pads between her legs, and she squeezes them together and puts them on the outside and then pushes them out. So in 4th Wing, they have the capacity to have access to these heavy lifting gym-based machinery. So today we're going to go over how to build a program based on that type of program, using weights, using machines, using free weights, using cable machines, so that you can have specifically we're going to do a 5-day program, so it's going to be 4 days of strength training and then 1 day of cardio. Once we go over how to build the program, then I'm going to give you some sample exercises of what you can put in your program. So with that being said, we're going to start with your structure for your weekly workout program. Now, you can structure the program, however you want. If you want to do it 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week. But for the program sample that we're going to do today, we're going to go over a 5-day program. Now, the first 4 days, like I said, are strength training. Now, specifically for the keep your seat strengthening and conditioning, the strengthening part needs to be muscle endurance. And the reason that is because when you're riding a dragon, you need to be able to hold on to that dragon for a long period of time. And that long period of time is the definition of endurance. So you need to be able to not just pick something up heavy and quick, but be able to hold on to something and not let go. So with that being said, this program is going to help you build strength, endurance, as well as agility, as well as your cardio and stamina. So starting with the weekly breakdown of day 1. Day 1, I would recommend that you do a lower body push. Now, this could include stimulating and building muscle with your quads, your abductors. So abductors are on the outside of the legs, calves, core, and glutes. These muscles are essential for powerful leg movements. So whether that's jumping off your dragon, or maintaining your seat in the dragon, or simply going up the stairs if you're not a dragon rider. Now, with day 2, I recommend doing an upper body pull. So this focuses on exercises that target your back, your biceps, your shoulders, and your forearms. Now, these muscles are essential for pulling, upper body pull. So whether that's pulling yourself onto a ledge, whether that's gripping onto the harness as a dragon rider, or simply holding onto your groceries and walking in the house. That's your upper body pull. Then I would take a rest day, and then I would move on to day 3 of the strength training program, which would be a lower body pull, which targets your hamstrings, adductors. So adductors is AD, so that's the inside of your thighs, glutes, core, and lower back. A strong lower body pull program helps you improve your hip stability, enabling you to maintain your seat, performing ground maneuvers such as like running around, jumping, tucking, rolling, but also something as like picking up something heavy, picking up a box off the ground. Then from there, the last of the 4 strength training days, I would recommend an upper body push. So this works out your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, and these muscles will give you power to wield weapons, whether it's a blade, hold up a shield, or even put a heavy box up on a shelf. Now, with all 4 of these days, if you program correctly, you can also do core exercises within these exercises. So doing a deadlift, doing squats, all of these things are going to activate your core, and you can also add in core exercises within them as well. Now, day 5 is where the conditioning comes in. So as the story progresses in the Empyrean series, they start with the weight training, but then we have a situation where they meet the Venin, and they realize that the Venin sucks the life out of the ground. And when that happens, if anyone's on the ground when that happens, they die. So Violet starts putting into her training that she wants to go running every morning. So that's where we have this conditioning component, is because it's not only about being strong, but it's also about being able to run. And run, whether it's quick, like a sprint to get back on your dragon, or whether it's long-term endurance, like battling on the back of your dragon in the middle of a war. So we want you to incorporate, or encourage you to incorporate in your program, both aerobic endurance, which is steady pace of stamina, or anaerobic sprints, which is high intensity bursts of explosive power. And this will prepare you for those prolonged efforts and quick actions, both of them. So that's your day 5. Now, for the day 5, because we're not going to do sample exercises specifically, but for some examples for day 5, you can do the elliptical, you can do your rower, you can do a bicycle, stationary bike, or actual biking, you can do treadmill, you can do running, jump rope. All of these things you can do in either quick bursts with recovery breaks in between, or a long steady state over a longer period of time. So with those quick bursts, you're going to explode about, we'll say, 90% of your speed for a short period of time, and then come back to 0 to 10% of your speed for a rest. And then repeat that over and over again for whatever duration you're doing, for 10, 15, 20 minutes. For the steady state, you're going to do the same 10, 15, 20 minutes, but you're going to find a pace of maybe 75 that you can maintain over that 10, 15, 20 minutes. So that's going to be your conditioning. Now moving on from there, so we have the program. We're going to now move into sample exercises. Now I do want to say, before I actually show you the sample exercises, that, like I said, we are doing that muscle endurance, so it's important to focus on higher repetition to get that goal of muscle endurance. So this is going to be about 2 to 3 sets of each exercise that you're putting in your program, and 12 to 20 or more reps per set. So that means whatever exercise you're doing, say hip thrust, you're going to do 12 to 20 hip thrusts, take a break, 12 to 20 hip thrusts, take a break, 12 to 20 hip thrusts, take a break. So this approach will help you build that endurance needed to maintain your seat and perform like a true dragon rider. So with that being said, starting with that day 1 programming of the lower body push, you can do barbell hip thrusts. Now, I'm going to show you kind of how to set up for it. We're not going to do the whole workout, but I have it prepared. You don't have to use a barbell. You could use a kettlebell, you could use a dumbbell. But the biggest thing that I like to show also, this is a pool noodle. If you want to, you can also take a yoga mat if you don't want to put the hard surface on you. I love the pool noodle hack. You don't have to get any fancy pad for like $35 on Amazon. You can get a $2 pool noodle at Dollar General. So when you're setting up, you'll have your bench behind you. It's going to go right about where your bra strap is. I need to push this so that it doesn't slide back. There we go. And from there, you're going to set up. You can either do a neutral, you can do wide, you can do narrow, a variety of options for you to train. The biggest thing, though, that people tend to do is they tend to move their back throughout the movement. And what you want to do is you want to pretend that you have a stick up your ass and you can't move your spine. So you have to brace your core. You have to push down through your feet like you're trying to push your feet backwards. That will activate the glutes So everyone says push out on your knees, and yes, that is important. You want to do that as well. But the pushing down is, I feel like, a lot of what people lose in that glute activation. So pushing down in the feet, pushing out, pushing through the big toe, and from there, I like to feel my core straight, and I like to put my fingers in my hips for my warm-up, push my hips up, and then come back down. Now, you don't have to come all the way back down. Come down as much as you can without losing the integrity. Now, what a lot of people do is they lose their spine, and they have this movement where they're moving in their spine, and that's not what we want. We want the movement to come from the hips. So it'll look like this. Now, also another thing with the spine is you want to watch your chin. A lot of people will do this as well and leave their neck behind. We don't want to leave our neck behind. We want to keep our chin in and move our head with our body. So that's barbell hip thrust for lower body pull. For upper body pull, we can do straight arm pull downs. Now, yes, there's the lat pull downs and the pull ups, and I feel like those are very common. So I want to do something that is one of my favorite exercises that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about a lot, and that's the straight arm pull down. So you can do it on a cable machine like this one, or you can also do it with resistance bands. But the focus of it is that you are, instead of pulling like a lat pull down, you're pulling from the lat and keeping the arm straight. And you can use a rope, you could use a bar, whatever's easier for you. Hinge slightly in the hips, pull the core in so we're not arching our back or rounding our back, nice straight spine. Pull down and up. Pull down and up. Now, like I said, you can also use a resistance band. You can use your body as well to adjust. If you kind of are here and you don't have much range of motion, you can step back, hinge in the hips, and then give yourself a bigger range of motion. Pulling down and up. So those are straight arm pull downs. I think those are really important because this, you bring the bicep, you bring the tricep into things, but this is really focusing on that shoulder and the lat. Now, from there, lower body pull. So we did lower body push, now we're going to do lower body pull. Now for this one, you can do deadlifts. So I got the barbell set up already, so I'm going to use that. But like I said, you can use kettlebells, you can use dumbbells, you can use a cable machine. The sky, anything really that you can grab and pick up. I mean, sandbag, the sky's really the limit. So with the deadlift, some things you want to make sure you're doing. Feet can, again, be hip width distance. They can be wide. You could go sumo. You can go narrow. There's really endless options. You can do front grip, switch grip, back grip, snatch grip. There's really a bunch of variety. For this, I'm just going to kind of show you a neutral one. The bar is going to line up about mid-foot when you look down. You'll grab the bar. And what a lot of people do is they don't, I'm actually going to turn to show you this. They'll set up and then just pull here. What you need to do is you need to sit back into the bar. Sit this way. And then also what you need to do is they call it like breaking the bar. So you want to imagine you're bending the bar even though the bar's not going to go anywhere. So you'll grab the bar, feet forward, sit back, push through the feet like we did in that hip thrust, and then stand up. Hinge the hips back, stand up. Deadlifts. So that's lower body pull. So we did lower body push, lower body pull, upper body pull. So left is upper body push. Now for this one, lots of options, chest press, but I'm going to show you guys a seated shoulder press. Now, let me take a sip of water real quick. Actually, it's tea, but I love tea. So, for the seated shoulder press. I wanted to show you guys seated specifically because I think it's good to start seated when you're still learning how to activate your core appropriately. And what I mean by that is a lot of people will do upper body exercises standing and their backs either, like a lot of women arch their backs, so they're here, and you got to pull that in, tuck the ribs in, open up the lats, and then have a straight spine. So it's easier to train that seated first and then come to standing. So that's why I have you guys doing seated today. So you can do this with dumbbells, you can do this with a barbell, you can do this with kettlebells. I don't have dumbbells, so we're going to use my kettlebells. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Now before I bring this up, there's a lot of argument on where the arm should start and end. Traditional bodybuilders back in the day, 90 degrees is where it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be all the way out here. You're supposed to be at like 45, and then you come back up, come back down. The more functional movement people that you talk to will tell you to come back down, because whatever range of motion you train is the range of motion you have. So if you train this, you're not going to have any strength here. So with that being said, this is a weak point for a lot of people. So you can start where you feel like you have control, but it's still challenging. So I don't recommend just doing here. If that's what you want to do, that's up to you. But I do recommend not starting all the way down here if you don't have control of the situation and you're compensating in your back or maybe rounding the shoulders, whatever it may be. So we're going to come up. I'm going to start here to show you, for example, push the arms out, lats on, core tight, up and down. Now, like I said, you can do full range of motion if you want. This is called an Arno press. Just to give you a couple different varieties. So, seated shoulder press gives you that upper body push because we're pushing up. Like if we're trying to put like a box on a shelf, or hold on to our rider. We're the rider. Hold on to our dragon while he's doing maneuvers. That's going to be a push isometric to turn the tricep on. So with that being said, these are the exercises that you can do in the program, but they're not the only exercises. You can do a variety of exercises, and I listed a couple too as I was talking to you guys to give you some examples. But by regularly incorporating these movements in a upper body push-pull fashion on that 4-day split, you'll really build the strength endurance that you're looking for, the stability, and the cardio, adding that in as well, will give you everything you need to secure your seat and perform like a true dragon rider. Now, if you don't want to take the time to build a 5-day program with, 4 to 5 exercises and a warm-up and a cool-down and have it progress over 10 to 12 weeks at a time, we do have our Keep Your Seat Strength and Conditioning Dragon Rider Training Program, which is a 5-day split like the one we went over today, and is a 12-week program. Now, this is inspired by that fourth wing scene where Violet and Imogen train together so that Violet can keep her seat, and it's going to build their muscle strength and endurance and agility you need to master the skies, the battlefield, and real life. Now, this program specifically, if you are interested in it, is designed for all fitness levels. It's good for beginners looking to build a solid foundation because you can start at a lower weight and really work on progressing slow over 12 weeks, or for experienced athletes who want to enhance their performance. Whether you're just starting your journey or looking to push your limits, this program can be tailored and met perfectly for your needs. So by the end of this program, if you guys decided to try it, you will see increased muscle strength and power for both your ground and air maneuvers, enhance aerobic and anaerobic endurance, as well as endurance for sustained activities in life, high intensity efforts, and improved coordination and reaction time, which will help you be quick, decisive, and have better cardiovascular health, muscle tone, and overall physical conditioning. So if you're interested in this full body program for the 5 days, 12 weeks at a time. It's going to be released next Friday with our other Dragon Rider program, which is going to be Dragon Rider Training Introduction to Grounding and Shielding. We're releasing 2 Dragon Rider training programs next week, next Friday. So to get this program and more like this, including the Survive the Gauntlet Dragon Training, Valkyrie Bodyweight Boot Camp, Phoenix Fat Loss 4-week program, and more, you can click the link that's going to be below in the comment section to learn more. Thank you guys for joining me today for the Dragon Rider training. We hope you enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget, at 1 o'clock today, Kelsey will be hopping on to do the Dragon Rider Training Introduction to Grounding, and then next Friday we'll do part 2, which is Dragon Rider Training Introduction to Shielding. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. See you later.